Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Gear Chronicle standard format deck profile for post-clan selection Volume 1. With the release of the latest clan selection, we were given a bunch of new support for the Gear Chronicle deck, focusing on the Chronojet build with the ability to ride into a bunch of different grade 4s from the main deck using Chronojet Dragon as our main go-to grade 3. What I love about this set is we got a bunch of new support cards to go along with not just the main new units in the set, but also just backup support to make the deck that much more powerful. So I definitely felt an update was due. This might be the final update for the deck unless we get more support down the road for standard format, which I know they'll be doing a yearly release for standard cards, so we'll just have to wait and see what cards we get from those sets. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the grade 4s in the deck, I run 3 interdimensional dragon, Time Leaper Dragon, on Vanguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, you put a rear guard on the bottom of your deck and search your deck for up to 1 card with a grade equal to the card put on the bottom of your deck for this card's cost plus grade 1, and you can call it to rear guard. So shuffle your deck, and that unit gets plus 10,000 until end of turn. So with this card, you have the option for multiple attacks with your Gear Chronicle deck, being able to put a card that you already attacked with onto the bottom of the deck, and then just being able to call a stronger unit out. You can call a grade 2, or if you put a grade 2 on the bottom of the deck, a grade 3 out onto the field, and just give you more and more attacks and plus power if you do end up having to use the boost with the unit that already attacked to at least hit your opponent. Having the option with this card, I only run the 3 though because we have some recycle power in the deck with one of the new grade 1. So FL3 is really all you need for the deck. But I am still running 4 Chrono Dragon and Next Stage. My main reason for this is because you can easily damage check a good number of these if you don't have the recycle power, being the new grade 1, which is Steam Maiden Rebel. You can, not have the resources to go into. We do run a good number of this grade 1, but you want to have those options to always recycle those cards, and being able to rely on Chrono Dragon Next Stage for this option definitely can come in handy for those plays, and just having enough of them to use. I only run the 3 Time Leaper Dragon because you do have the option just for the play. I like it better than Metallica Phoenix just because you have the drive check boost, but also being able to rely on this card for the multiple attacks while you still get plenty of multiple attacks with Chrono Dragon Next Stage, giving you a whole new Vanguard to attack with after being able to ride back into Chronojet Dragon as stood and giving it plus 15,000 power. And then also I'm now moving on to the grade 3s. I run 4 Chronojet Dragon. It's your main go-to grade 3 in the deck. It's also the only grade 3 run in the deck. We have plenty of new search power as well for the deck, being able to search it out quite easily with Lost Gear Dog 8. And with it, you discard 1 or more cards from your hand with some of their grades being 3 or greater. And then search your deck for up to 1 grade 4 card. Ride a stand, shuffle your deck. At the end of the turn, retire that unit and ride a grade 3 from your soul as rest. And when this card attacks, you can counter +1 to have it get +5, and your opponent cannot call Sentinel. So a great option after riding out of Chrono Dragon Next Stage, then being able to have a power boost and guard restriction along with the +15 that Chrono Dragon Next Stage gives your Chronojet, being able to hit for 33,000 power alone. But just the fact that you ride it as rest again gives you more and more imaginary gift force markers to use when you call it out, so you don't have to ride repeatedly into Chronojet Dragon, since also none of our grade 4s have any imaginary gifts either. And that is it for the grade 3s. Like I spoke of, Chronojet is the only grade 3 run in the deck. For the grade 2s, I run 4 Steam Gunner Zayed on Vanguard or rear. When placed, you can Soul Blast 1 and discard a card from your hand. To draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards with grade less than or equal to the grade of the card discarded from your hand and retire it. And on rear guard, when it attacks, if you wrote a grade 4 this turn, you Soul Charge 1. The Soul Charge works great with our next grade 2 that we are running in the deck, but just for the fact that the Soul Blast power for retiring makes it that much better than the other options we were running originally, for the fact that that card had to attack, and this is just a when placed. So even if you use it with your Time Leaper Dragon, if you place a grade 1 back onto the bottom of the deck, you can then call out Zayed using the Soul Blast, and then just having the option again when it attacks, being the fact that you more than likely will have rode into a grade 4 since you'll be going into Time Leaper Dragon, being able to then get the additional Soul Charge power for either using this card again or using it with our next grade 2, which we are are running 4 Smoke Gear Dragon. Still a big fan of this card in the deck, being able to be the total costs for the grade 3 when discarded from the hand. And also on Vanguard or Rear, when it attacks a Vanguard, it gets plus 5,000. And if you roll a grade 4 this turn, Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. And it's that draw power and the Soul Charge power that works with Zayed, just giving you more and more resources with this card to then power your draw power that you use with Smoke Gear Dragon. So I like 4 of it again, just having more and more grade 2 options to have as backup to our grade 3 makes it that much more easier of a setup. And lastly, for the grade 2s, I run 3 Steam Scar or Cobb. I thought of running 4 of this card. If that were the case, you could always try dropping 1 Smoke Gear for a 4th copy. It's just investment into your Vanguard attack. On Vanguard or Rear, once per turn, counter +1, discard a card from your hand. One of your Vanguards gets drive +1 until end of turn. And from your hand, when it would be discarded, it can be discarded as a grade 3. Having 2 grade 2s make up for this cost means that you normally shouldn't have to discard multiple cards for your grade 4 ride using Chronojet Dragon. And having your Cobb as the power boost to potentially give your Vanguard triple attack, whether it be next stage, Time Leaper Dragon, or Chronojet, is a great option to rely on. And the fact that this card just has to be on rear guard as a once per turn, you can then protect this card and then make sure your opponent doesn't attack into it and then just use it again next turn. And the discard can come in handy depending on what you discard from your hand also. And that is it for the grade 2s. Now we'll move on to the grade 1s. I run 4 Lost Gear Dog 8 on Vanguard or Rear when placed from hand. Reveal a grade 3 or greater card from your hand. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 3. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck, and if you put a card, choose 1 or more cards with the sum of their grade being 3 or greater from your hand and discard them. So it's just easier search power, with Chronojet Dragon being the only search option for our grade 3 in the deck. You have the option to search your deck for a grade 3, and then having the option of having the grade 4 in your hand can at least count as the grade 3, because then you'll be able to discard that card after adding Chronojet and then easily discard it and then search it and add it back into the deck using our next grade 1. And Lost Gear Dog 8 also has the when this card be discarded, it may be discarded as a grade 3, giving you more and more options for the discards. Why I took out Mesa Gear Dragon instead of that for this card. We needed the search power more. We can rely on our grade 4s for the offensive power against our opponent. We just need that consistency to always go into Chronojet Dragon, which I found to be the biggest weakness in the deck for sure, just not being able to ride into our grade 3. And I also run 4 Steam Maiden Revolt. Going off of Steam Breath Dragon also, it just wasn't as consistent of a search as Lost Gear Dog 8, just being able to have this guaranteed search for this card instead of checking top 5. And with Steam Maiden Revolt, when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, Soul Blast 1, call this card to rear, and this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. Then put a normal unit from your drop zone on the bottom of your deck and draw a card, with our normal units being our grade 4s. They count as normal units, so being able to recycle them again for more and more power means we can just have the grade 4s to always go into with our Chronojet Dragon, and then being able to call this card out as resources for just an attack, let's say, and then being able to put it back on the bottom of the deck with Time Leaper Dragon to go into a grade 2, or even just as a booster for the fact that we can just have the Soul Blast, which can also be built up with cards like Zayed. It all works very, very well together. And then lastly, for the grade 1s, I also run 3 Chronotooth Tiger on Vanguard Circle at the beginning of your ride phase. Draw a card, and when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, counter +1, draw a card and call it to rear as rest. Just more resources to add onto the field. I thought about adding a 4th copy of this card. If I were to do so, you can always try and drop 1 of the Chrono Dragon next stage and just run 3 next stage and 3 Time Leaper Dragon for the fact that you can recycle the cards with Reball. So as long as you have that consistency for the recycle, you don't have to really worry about running out of grade 4s early in the game, and having the call to rear easy grade 1s like Chronotooth Tiger, and also the Reball for all these different options, with Tiger counting for your counter blasts and Reball taking up your Soul Blast cost for them. And that is it for the grade 1s. When I move on to the grade 0s, trigger lineup didn't really change much. I run Chronodron as the go-to starter. Just, the starter of choice with Chronojet, obviously. And having the updated quick shield text if you ride your grade 1 second. And then being able to give that ticket into your hand along with the draw power. For the critical triggers, I run 8 criticals. So 4 Steam Bomber De Gaulle and 4 Reclaim Key Draco K. I just find them to be the most fitting for the triggers in the deck altogether. But still, consistency, being able to go through many drive checks and then have this pressure against your opponent, along with Imaginary Gift Force 2, which is what I use most of the time just because of the restand pressure. With Chronojet, being able to make your opponent not use Sentinels makes it all the better. And then lastly, I also run the 4 Steam Guard Castelia. I still like the guaranteed guard against my opponent's attacks, so that's why I'm running this. And the draw power comes in handy because sometimes we just need that resources for discarding for the grade 4 ride. And lastly, for the heal trigger, the Steam Maiden Uluru are still my preferred one in the deck since they were the one that Chrono used the most, and this is basically his deck in standard format, so definitely the most fitting heal trigger for the deck altogether. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. This is the first of many different decks that I'll be updating from the Clan Selection Volume 1, so definitely look forward to it. We got plenty to go through. And also just to prepare for Clan Selection Volume 2, which we're going to get the rest of the clans that we didn't receive in this pack in that one. And finally, like I said, a good farewell to standard format, just going all out with all these different awesome decks, paying respects to, just these cards like Spectral Duke Dragon, Dragonic Kaiser Rebellion, you name it, all throughout Vanguard all together. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.